So you're planning to take the AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. Let's find out what that means, what the exam covers, and everything in between. So the goal of the exam is to validate that you have a high-level understanding of the AWS cloud, the services, and the terminology. It's your starting point in your whole certification path. This exam is perfect for you if you're someone that's thinking about switching careers, if you're just getting started in technology, or maybe you just want to learn a new skill. Also keep in mind that this certification is valid for 3 years. So after the third year, you're gonna have to revalidate it. There are no prerequisites for this certification. So you don't need any amount of years of experience in the IT field or with cloud computing. So this is perfect for someone that's just starting up. Even though the content of the exam is designed for someone that doesn't have previous knowledge of the cloud or the IT field, it is recommended to have at least 6 months worth of exposure to the AWS cloud. But it's not required, so don't worry about it because there are tons of free resources that can give you the practice that you need in order to feel comfortable before you take the exam. So the exam has 65 questions total, but only 50 of them count towards your score. The other 15 are unscored, and I'll put a link in the description below so you can find out more about those questions. The questions are either multiple choice or multiple response. So there's no essay style question or fill in the blank or any of those type of questions. You have 90 minutes to pass the exam, which is plenty of time for all 65 questions. The passing score is 700, so it's pretty accessible, it's doable. At the current time, the cost is only $100 US, which is one of your cheapest, most affordable IT certifications you can get. The exam is broken down in 4 different categories or domains. Domain number 1 covers basic cloud concepts. Domain number 2 includes security and compliance. Domain number 3 covers cloud technology and services. And domain number 4 is mostly about billing, pricing, and support. Out of those 4 domains, domain number 2 and 3 covers 64% of your exam. So I would highly recommend you focus on those first and then move on to domain 1 and 4. Let's talk about in details about what's covered in cloud concepts, which is part of domain 1. One of the important things that I'll cover is the benefits of the AWS cloud. I'll focus a lot on economies of scale, global infrastructure, high availability, elasticity, and agility. Also included in this section are the benefits to migrate to the AWS cloud. I'll also cover the design principles of the AWS cloud and cloud economics, such as cost savings, right sizing, licensing strategies, and familiarity with managed AWS services. You don't have to know everything about them, but you'd have to be able to know what they are and have a basic understanding of what they do. For domain 2, we're going to be covering security and compliance. Here you're going to see questions regarding the shared responsibility model, what it is and how it works, cloud security, governance, and compliance, such as different needs and for different geographical locations or industries, and securing resources. Also, it'll cover things from access management, such as the principle of least privileged, AIM, Identity Center, which is huge in this exam, password policies, and what the root user does. In addition, under the security section, you'll see questions from Trusted Advisor, Knowledge Center, Security Center, and the different capabilities and documentation that you have within AWS. Domain 3 is the biggest section of the exam, which includes questions under the Cloud Technology and Services category. Here you'll see questions about deploying and operating methods, such as provisioning, AWS service access, deployment methods, and connectivity options. It's important to know that under the global infrastructure, things like regions and availability zones, edge locations, and high availability are a major part of this section. Other things like CloudFront and Global Accelerator are also covered in this section. AWS compute services such as EC2 instance types, containers and compute options, elasticity, and load balancing are important things to learn as you study for the exam. Under database services, you need to know how database migrations work and the difference between relational and NoSQL databases. You also need a basic understanding of network services such as VCP, Route 53, and Edge services, which is huge. There's also the topic of storage services such as object storage and AWS backup, Amazon S3 storage classes, and the different solutions and file systems. Another section that's newer in this domain is the AI and machine learning component. You'll find some questions regarding this, though it's not a huge part of it. You need to become familiar with different in-scope services that Amazon offers, such as application integrations, customer engagement, and developer tools and Internet of Things services. Okay, finally, domain 4, billing, pricing, and support. Here you're gonna see questions regarding AWS pricing models that include compute purchasing options, data transfer charges, storage options, and different tiers. You will also see a set of questions regarding how billing, budget, and cost management work. Here, you can expect to find questions regarding cost allocation tags, billing conductor, AWS budget, and cost explorer. Additionally, but not as important, you need to be familiar with technical resources and support options that Amazon offers, such as AWS support plans, AWS Support Center, Trusted Advisor, Health Dashboard, and Health API, as well as the different AWS partners, professional services that they offer, and solution architects. After you pass this exam, you'll be able to explain the value of the AWS cloud. You'll be able to understand and explain the AWS shared responsibility model and understand the security best practices. You'll become familiar with AWS cloud cost and economics and billing practices, as well as AWS services, including compute, network, database, and storage services. And most importantly, you'll be able to identify what AWS services can benefit your organization. As you can see, the Cloud Practitioner exam is your foundation to all the Amazon certifications. Once you get this certification, you'll be able to move to the next level of associate certifications, where you have plenty of options to choose depending on the path that you want to follow. These certifications change from time to time, so definitely keep an eye on them. But for now, let's focus on this exam and let's get you ready.